Hello, I'm back in town. Hey Goober, what's going on? So I'm trying out this new set of microphone things because I noticed that whenever I'm recording and I zoom in and out and stuff, my voice gets really distorted. So I decided to check out this cheap set from Amazon. Let's start this new video with these microphones, see how they work. So I've been driving the Squareback around for a while now. I put so far, let's see, I put over 1,000 miles on it so far. Let's see exactly what it says here. 1,054 miles so far. I think this is right around the time I should do a compression test. So I'm gonna do that today. I've been using this rug here that I normally have been using for the garage. I noticed it keeps the road noise down, and I'm sure that's because it creates a lot of insulation back here, so I should probably one day make a bit of carpet back here. That's for later when I actually start doing the interior, but for now, I have to make sure the car is running mechanically sound. So let's work on, oh yeah, this is my original license plate. The one that the previous owner actually gave me, and unfortunately she only gave me one, so I can't even run it unless for some miracle, if I can somehow find this somewhere. I doubt it. I mean, that's gonna be the world's greatest story if I did find it. Okay, so the last time I did a compression test on this was before the engine was installed into the Squareback a couple months ago, and before I even did a test run on the actual engine, I did the compression test before anything. I kind of figured that those values may change. Actually, matter of fact, I still have it here. Wow, I forgot I even had this. But yeah, these were the values that I got when I first did the compression test before I did anything. I don't remember exactly which episode that one was. I don't know, episode 29 or something. I don't remember, but yeah, these were the values that I got when I did the compression test. I think maybe once the engine is broken in, the seals and rings and everything are all seated, then I think my theory is that everything should kind of even out. So that's why now that I have rammed the engine about 1,000 miles, give or take, so they may be a little bit closer. The first thing I need to do is start removing everything that needs to come off. I don't need to run the engine, so I'm going to completely remove the carburetors and the air cleaner. That way it's just way easier for me to get the spark plugs out and put the compression tester in there. Doing the compression test on these engines is actually super easy, and most people really can get away with using the most basic tools. I have this 3/8 wrench, I have some sockets, some wrenches, and every single time I do this, I always forget what size the spark plug is. I'll figure it out. Anyways, the most important thing is this one here, which you can get on Amazon for pretty cheap. I think this one was probably $20 or $30. All you need is this and this hose. The Volkswagen spark plugs are actually the same thread as the one that's already on the hose, so I don't have to use any of these adapters. Okay, I have the air cleaner out of the way. So now moving on to the carburetors. This one and this one, I would like to take them off again just to make it easier for myself to get to the spark plugs. It's pretty simple. I mean, pretty much this hose, I did not even clip this back on. And same thing here. Oops. Okay, I'll remember to put that on. But anyways, when I take this hose off and the one for the vacuum advance and then the spring here to the side, I'll take that off. Once everything is removed off the carburetor, there's only two nuts that are here and on the other side. Those are a size 13. The actual manifolds themselves, they don't need to come off, just the carburetor itself. Okay, I have this hose clamped off with this vise. I'm gonna take off this hose, and what you don't want to do is pull from this hose to try to take this off. It's kind of like one of those finger trap things. The harder you pull, the tighter it's gonna get. So instead of pulling it out that way, what you want to do is get a flathead and push it out from here, which makes it super easy to take off just like that. So with that out of the way, just the line for the distributor. That's out of the way. Now the spring holding the carburetor down, that's out of the way. Now it's just, I think it's just the two nuts holding down the actual carburetor. Oh, actually the choke, I don't even have that plugged in to the coil, but I had it plugged into the actual choke harness, so take that off too if you have that. That comes right off. Don't forget the washer. I don't know if I'm going to be covering the camera. Fortunately, I can fit my small little hands through this side hole here and just go to town. Actually, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Yep. Every time I'm upside down or backwards or something like that, I always have to do that with my hand. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Okay, I have it loose enough that I can spin it with my hand. And you can see the carburetors are actually already loosened. It's the nut. And the washer. Carburetor is ready to come off. Okay, both carburetors are now removed. Alright guys, I have my studio set up and look at how much room I have here to take these out. And I don't have to worry about breaking my fingers just to get these spark plug things out, because normally they're pretty tight in there. And same goes for the other side. Okay, I confirmed it. The size for the spark plug is a 13/16. So now I'm going to remove spark plugs for cylinder 1 and 2 first. It'd actually be easier to put this in first and then the wrench, just to kind of line things up. Maybe actually the shorter extension may be better. Shouldn't be torqued down too tight, so once you break torque on that, you should be able just to twist these off by hand. Here is cylinder 1. These are actually reused from a long time ago. Eventually I'm gonna swap them out, but for now, I mean, the engine's running just fine. So cylinder 1 is out, now cylinder 2. There goes cylinder 2. 3 and 4 is a little bit more cramped. I think it's just because I have the coil pack here and all this stuff, so it should be the same process though. Alright, I broke torque on both 3 and 4, but I'm going to take 4 off first because I want to be extra careful when I'm removing cylinder 3. Cylinder 4. Now cylinder 3, that is where I put the sensor for the cylinder head temperature sensor. Oh, frickin' A, did I just drop it? Oh no. Alright, let's see if I can grab my magnet. Alright, wish me luck. I have my magnet here. Careful, my butt. Okay, and the magnet is sticking to the spark plug, but the problem is the spark plug is sideways. It's not wanting to come out of the hole. Alright, I got it. There we go. So the problem I was having was when this magnet would stick on it, it would go like that, and in the hole it kept just like dropping it. So it was just enough space for me to kind of push my finger in like that and get it all the way to the edge like that, and then kind of finagle it through the hole this way. The sensor didn't come off with it. It should be that red sensor in one of my episodes where it kind of is a ring that goes like this, and that's what I wanted to make sure did not come off with this. So it should still be in there. We should be okay. Time to start with putting on the compression tester, which is this thing. So I only need this hose and this gauge. Okay, putting this in is kind of tricky, so it's best to put the hose in first. That way you can kind of like guide it in there and twist it like this, because if you have this gauge on it already, I mean, I guess you still could, but it's just easier just to kind of deal with the hose first. Alright, and it is tricky because when you're trying to twist it, this hose wants to kind of be weird too. I feel it catch. It did turn like twice, and when I pull it, it's grabbing in there. So I'm just gonna twist it a couple more times just to make sure it's nicely seated in there. There we go. It probably spun like 5 or 6 times, and that's pretty snug. Now I can put this gauge here. There we go. Now I'm ready to crank the engine and get this value. Okay, some of you may already know that I did make this Squareback remote start. So I have one button that turns on my ignition. So you can see right there where my gauges are. When I press this button, it turns on my ignition. And when I press D, it will start the starter motor. Since we don't need to have the engine running, I'm going to turn off my ignition and I can just crank the starter. Wow, 175. What did I have before? 145 on cylinder 1. So let's try a second time. I'm going to remove the air from it. Start the starter. Oh, if you don't have this, I mean, you can just go inside the cab and hit the key. It's exactly the same. If you have a second person, that would be even better because you can have them watch this and another person do that. But I'm riding solo, so I'm just doing this. Dang, that's really good. 175. So let's write that down. 175. Let's see what cylinder 2 has to say. Looks like it's also 175. Let's try that again. Looking good. Cylinder 3. Also pretty high up at 175. That's looking really good so far. Let's go to cylinder 4. And last but not least is cylinder 4. So everything else has been 175. So let's cross our fingers for 175 here. Right on the money, 175. Let's try that again. $175 without a doubt. So yeah, safe to say this is a healthy motor. The results are in and I could not be happier. Literally all 4 cylinders are the exact same value at 175. So my theory is correct with breaking in the engine at 1,000 miles. And now all the piston rings are all seated properly and everything pretty much just evened out. So 175 across the board. Pretty happy with the results. Now I get to put everything back and drive around a little bit. Now everything needs to go back in. So just a little bit of YouTube magic. And everything is reinstalled. Carburetors, the spark plugs, all the cables, the air cleaner and everything. So I'm going to attempt to start it right now. It may take a couple seconds just because the maybe the fuel, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see if we can start it. So I'm going to start the ignition real quick. Power to all my gauges right there. Off, on. Now starter motor. Oh, started right up. Oh, I forgot this. Not too shabby, so let me just clean everything up and then we'll go for a drive. Okay, I'm just gonna go around the block a little bit. I'll just let that heat up just for a tiny bit. Okay, I usually wait for the cylinder head temp to go up to about 140, 150 give or take, but I think it'll be okay. I was listening to the video using this microphone that I mentioned earlier, and I noticed that it kind of hides the sound of the engine noise. So right now you can probably only hear my voice, but I can assure you the engine is definitely running. You know what? I'm gonna do a comparison. So this is how it sounds like with the microphone on. And once I get some speed going, I'm gonna unhook the microphone so you can hear the difference and really hear the engine. Alright, this is still with a microphone, and this is gonna be without. So this is now without the microphone, and you can notice probably that the engine is definitely a little bit louder. Let's see, I'm gonna speed up a little bit, but yeah, I do have this unplugged. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna plug this thing back in. Alright, so the microphone should be connected again, and it should sound different, and that's what I was kind of trying to avoid with the extra road noise. Yeah, hopefully this should sound better. I mean, if it doesn't, I guess let me know, and then I'll just revert back to making videos without the microphone thing. Yep, car's running so far so good. I'll just go back to the garage. Right now I have 1,054 miles. Yeah, so the engine seems to be running perfectly fine, and I'm really glad that all the compression values are actually identical at 175, because that's a really good sign. So this is going to be the end of the video. Thanks again for following the project, guys.